Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Orange County Funding Corporation Finance Committee meeting. The time is now 4:06. Bill, can you please call roll call?
Sure. Mark Green.
Present.
Jeff Christ.
Here.
Dean Tamburi. Linda Muller, committee member, is not here yet, though I do expect her. For staff, myself, Bill Fioravanti, Kelly Riley, Marty Barras, also Jose Rojas from Acquisitions Marketing, and our external CFO, Shannon Manisi from RBT.
Welcome, everyone. Proof of notice of this meeting was duly provided. Correct, right? We're good. First up, minutes. Approval of the May 15th Orange County Funding Corporation Finance Committee meeting. Is there a motion to approve those meeting minutes?
Also move. Second.
Any discussion? I approve as well, so I think we're good to go.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
New business. I guess we get to turn over to Shannon.
Yes.
Welcome back, Shannon. We missed you. It's just not the same meeting without your bright shiny face.
So for the funding corp for the month of May, there was interest income of $170.73. There was a management fee expense of $6,436.89, and the monthly insurance expense of $402, and legal expense of $2,664.50. So a total of $9,503.62 in expenses. As usual, not a lot of activity.
Legal expenses?
Yeah, under May, legal expenses, that's just for OCFC. It's just that does fluctuate, so that is normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see the trending isn't there, but that sometimes it is periodic.
Gotcha.
Often.
Yeah, it's just general whenever they happen to work on something. Usually you'll see something on the IDA side as well.
All right. Any other questions?
No, for me. No other questions. Thank you.
I will ask my question I always ask. Is there anything on the horizon?
There is actually, yes. We did, you'll see on the IDA, first of all, we have some closing fees, so there's some revenue there, and there are some projects on the horizon, definitely. I actually expecting an application, perhaps multiple, but in the next 3 months for sure. It looks very, very good for that. I'm expecting that. So yeah, there are some things on the horizon.
Fantastic.
Or the funding corp.
Oh, for Funding Corp, sorry, we are in Funding Corp. Yeah, I apologize. We are, possible we could close within the next few months the Glen Arden deal if it gets sorted out, but not much else on the horizon there. Correct, I apologize.
All right. All right. Do we have to approve anything, or do we just move on from here?
I would, we should recommend approval by the full board.
Okay.
Yeah.
With
Vote to recommend it.
no questions, can I get a motion to approve?
Approve the financials, correct?
Yes.
Yes. I moved. Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? 3-0.
There we go. Motion carried.
All right. Next up, vendor.
Yep, exactly. Just one on there, I'll jump in for just RBT CPAs, as well as, of course, our management fee between the two agencies, so both those on there. And then the breakdown of the latter is on page 7. You're seeing the OCFC share of the agency costs.
Beautiful.
We move on to the bank accounts now?
No, not yet. I'm just letting them peruse and see if they have any questions. I didn't want to bully them.
But I see that, I mean, just to back what you had said, the legal is from the share that came over, right? That's the expense, correct, that you're referring to, or am I?
Well, I think the legal is one of those things where, you know, if you notice, we haven't gotten charged legal for the last several months. So I think it kind of adds up and then it kind of dumps. So I believe, if I'm not
So
mistaken.
the actual, the allocation that's on the invoice is for the litigation. That's the allocation. So things that are specific to both entities separate are billed separately, but the only allocation that you will see on here is for anything that's regarding the previous issues.
Thank you. Okay.
Any questions, gentlemen?
Not for money.
All right, so can we move on to the bank, or do we have to approve this too?
I think we should look to approve these as well, really, get approved,
The payables,
yeah.
Okay, can I get a?
I'll make that motion to approve payables.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. All right, let's talk bank statement or money statement.
Okay, so you'll see your
That's big.
3 investments. Based on this, you do have one that is maturing tomorrow. And then in total, you have $1,876,370 between the cash operating and the investments.
And I gave you the interest rates that we just got from all the institutions.
Thank you.
So what I would, well, do you guys want me to give you my recommendation, or do you guys have a recommendation?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I would suggest, this bill comes due tomorrow. It'll be, you know, I'm trying to think off the top of my head how much interest we'll make off of this. Probably about $6,000, I think. So what I would recommend is, we have $550,000 coming due September. We have $600,000 coming due in December. And I would, suggest that we roll this money into a 9-month. And, you know, the Treasury is far and away the best rate we can get. Even with the VIG that they take, we still make more money doing the JP Morgan 9-month Treasury at 5.07%. So that would be my recommendation. That way, we are staggered every 3 months. And again, with the thought that if we ever needed access to money, we would, you know, every 3 months, we would be able to have 600,000. Does that sound like a plan?
I'm good with that.
Yes, makes sense to me, and that's what we've been going through, so.
All right, my little pet peeve, if we could, you know, do, you know, invest 602,000. That was,
I agree with you, whatever the
Yeah.
cost of.
FP is,
yeah, I should have figured this out before I walked in. I'll do it better. I will
Yeah, but
figure out
that-
what percentage they take.
But that could fluctuate a little bit, even in
Yeah.
a couple of days or so,
Yeah,
correct?
so,
So it'll be even.
yeah,
600.
so this way we have, you know, the full 600,000 in there, just because it annoys me.
So 602,000 for 9 months under the T-bill at a 5.07%
Yes,
interest,
ma'am.
or approximately that, whatever it is tomorrow.
Yes, please. Any questions about that? Any thoughts?
I think it makes sense, and I think it's great that we still have some, you know, some decent interest rates.
Yeah, you can see though, if you look, you will see that the longer you go out, the more they are coming down. So, we take it while we can. Do you want me to put this up?
I think you should.
yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay, make the motion, convert to a 9-year treasury bill, JP Morgan, 5.07%, 602,000,
9 months.
9-month, made the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 3-0.
It's a machine, this committee.
Oh, yeah.
Say it.
What do we have next? We did that.
It's everything.
Payables, CD. Well, are there any other thoughts? Then, can I get,
Make a motion to adjourn.
fantastic.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Well done. We're adjourned.
At 4:16.
We'll just keep going, yeah. So whenever you're ready to start, 4:16 PM. Now it's 4:17. If you want to start ID when you're ready, ID.
Yep, everyone's ready? All right, welcome everyone to the Orange County Industrial Development Association Finance Committee meeting. The time is 4:07. Bill, can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, Mark Green,
Present.
Jeff Christ.
Here.
Dean Tamburri.
Present.
All right, 3 members present, 1 absent is Linda Muller, staff, Bill Fioravanti, Kelly Riley, Marty Brest, Jose Rojas here with us for AV, and Shannon Manisi with RBT, our CFO.
All right, notice of this meeting was properly provided. Let's approve the minutes from May 15th, 2024 Finance Committee meeting. Does anyone have any thoughts that they would like to comment on? With that said, can I get a motion to approve the committee meetings from May 15th?
I'll make that motion, Mark.
Fantastic.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 3. Let's go to payable, or, wait, do we do payables? No, we do can we do the budget first?
Yeah.
Or is there,
Income statement, or go right to?
yeah, can we do the financials, please?
Starting at page 5.
Sure. So for the month of May, there were closing fees of $32,300, and that was from the castle. You'll have other income there for $2,500, that was an exemption denial. You have the $400,000 from the litigation insurance payout. The rest are just your normal monthly incomes between the rents and the management fee and the interest on the investments. Any questions on any of the revenue?
Are you happy, Mark?
I'm giddy, I am so giddy right now, I can't even tell you.
Good.
Really?
So total income for the month of May was $458,653.72. So it was a good month. In looking at the expenses, just some notable things to point out. Professional fees, the $5,198, that's from Harris Beach. And for the Paris reporting and confirmations. If we go down to the agency support section, IT support and audiovisual, 88 Studio had $15,748 for website design, and then there was some additional time for acquisitions for meetings and additional hours required there. Marketing and PR, that's up, and that was because of more Pall Mall broadcasting and acquisition marketing for the month. And then for the membership and events, there was New York State EDC conference for annual meeting, and then the Orange County Association of Towns and Villages meeting. Again, you'll have the legal counsel for the $2,165.75. Employee benefit section is pretty standard, as are your building expenses, nothing of outside the realm of the normal monthly expenses. So the total expenses for the month were $80,946.06. So total profit for the month was $377,707.66. So thanks to the $400,000 payout, it was a profitable month.
Yeah, I mean, that we would be negative, 23,000.
I knew that.
But I am excited about these closing fees. Certainly, appreciate that. And the other, the 2,500, which, I appreciate them.
Yeah, we're trying to be conscious of that, where fees should be levied for work that we do. We're trying to recoup those expenses. That's the only reason. Not looking for a profit, just cover our expenses. So more vigilant with that for sure.
All right. Any questions?
You want a motion on the financials?
Are we good?
Yes.
Yes. Please, can we get a motion
I'll
to
make a
approve the
motion
financials?
for the May 2024 financials.
Fantastic.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on.
There you go. Motion carries.
I always feel bad, I don't want to rush you guys, you know what I mean? I don't want to be
That's
like,
fine.
you know,
I
so-
understand. Thank you.
that's, sorry for the hiccups. Can we move on to the payables? That's you, Shannon. No?
Oh, you want me to go over?
Sorry,
Usually
no.
Kelly does.
Shannon? Nope. Kelly?
For 88 Studios, you can see that it's a little bit more money because of, or less money because of the website design that we paid last month.
But we paid for a third of the website, by the
Right.
way, so,
Last month.
yes.
Everything else is pretty much the same, pretty much good. I mean, normal expenses that we've had, I don't see anything. This MRB group, there's a $1,000 charge for that. That's the update your cost benefit analysis.
Yeah, that's actually a CBA tool that we purchased for housing. So they just finished that. It's something I've been talking to them about. So it's just something we have, we can use at any point. It's an asset, not a recurring cost, just a one-time. We own that tool now.
So where is that, Kelly? Which line is that? Which one is that?
That's the MRB group. It's about the 7th one up from the bottom.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, thank you.
And then everything else is pretty much same. The Pamela Broadcasting, there's one for Bill that it was his expenses for his conference that he attended.
And just as a reminder, I have kind of agreed upon a stipend. I think it's $250 a month, $220 a month, what is something like that a month, for all my in-county mileage and traveling, which I think, I don't have to tell you, I do a lot of it. But I'm only getting reimbursed for mileage outside of the county, typically far distances like the Cooperstown in this case. Just want to be clear with that.
I mean, if anybody has any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them. The credit cards that you see, the bills follow behind this.
So that tool that you purchased, Bill, so that's we can go through the cost analysis for that tool specifically for the housing as opposed
Correct.
to the other. Okay.
Even though they were chased away, we did have 2 prior applicants this year, so if we didn't have that tool. I worked with the company MRB to use our tool and kind of modify. They actually modified our spreadsheet. That was just a courtesy. What we really needed, and I certainly hope and expect us to have other applications. So, yeah, the calculations are totally different on housing versus, typical
But
development project.
I'd rather have it and be ready for it and have you familiar, or staff familiar with it than not. So.
That's nice. That was our approach, exactly. Anything? Right at the end here, please.
Thank you.
Just welcoming Anthony Bracco, from our New York State Monitor from Anshin.
Hi, Anthony, how are you?
Well, that was in Orange County traffic you were caught, right?
No, that was
Yeah.
Queens County.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good with those.
Yeah, we're done with OCFC finance, we're in OCID finance, just so you're caught.
Great.
Dean, are you good with the expenses?
Yes.
All right.
A motion to approve those?
Please,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against?
Okay, motion carries.
Motion carries. All right, that brings us to CDs. And this is actually gonna be a little more complicated.
So again, you have a CD that is maturing tomorrow with JP Morgan, or a T-bill. So in total, the IDA has $9,791,183 between the trust escrow, the operating account, and the investments.
Okay, so this is where it gets a little frisky. We've got this currently in the checking account, 1.2 million. Just to confirm that 400,000 is part of that?
No, I don't believe it is.
Give me 1 second and I can verify that, but I do believe so.
That's good, yeah. Is it clear and just?
That was the one that matured earlier in the month.
No, I'm asking about the insurance.
Oh, okay.
I want to make sure we have information.
Yes, the $400,000 is in there. Also, the Connect One CD that rolled over for $414,000 is also in there, and that 1.2.
Right. So that's the other thing I wanted to remind everyone. Remember, we left that money sitting in there for when this CD matures tomorrow,
Yeah, that was my
and we're gonna
question.
sandwich it all
Yeah.
together.
Mhm.
So, out of this 1.2 million in the checking account, roughly 800,000 of that is gonna come out. And we're gonna merge that with what matures tomorrow, with the JP Morgan Treasury bill. And that, did you leave?
Is it?
Bill?
For a second, but I think.
We can go.
Yeah, I think we keep it.
Well, just because I wanted to make sure to ask his opinion, you know, I mean, I think I know the answer, that would leave us roughly 400,000.
Well, I was gonna ask, previously, that's what our balance was approximately. Plus, we have in 3 months, we have another 2 point whatever, so if we have to make an adjustment, it's right around the corner.
Well, and that's kind of my question, right, is, you know, I think I don't want to run too thin, but I also want to leave money on the table. And so the question, Bill, is that 800,000 of this 1.2 million has been geared for CDs. And so, you know, we are wondering, do we need the 413,000 in the checking account for the next 3 months?
My biggest concern, Jeff, is Fast New York, frankly. I know we should have those funds, you know, technically, right? We expect an escrow, but that is going actually in discussion still. So with what we know right now, that's really my biggest concern about potential expenditures.
Yeah.
You can't be outlay some money.
You can't be concerned with that.
No, if you have concerns,
Yeah,
then that's why we asked
I'm
the
just looking for
question.
him for validation.
Yeah,
not
I
me.
guess my thought is that should be ample to get us to September 5th,
Yeah, okay,
when we'll have 2.5.
okay. Yeah, 400 total, right?
400,000 to get you from tomorrow to September 5th.
Agreed, I agree, yes, no problem.
And that's comfortable enough?
Yes, it is, absolutely.
But I would say, I would say that September probably wouldn't be, we wouldn't have, our meeting is probably later in the month, right? Or we can do it prior to, or
You
not. In other
probably
words-
do it in August, this
Okay.
time.
Yeah, but regardless,
I'm saying, because I'm just saying, I'm asking, would it be fine if it was October is the question, I guess, if the other funds, right? You may-
Well, that money's coming out the 5th.
the money's coming out on the
money's
5th
going to come out
regardless.
No matter what.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, so,
True.
We could make a decision in August, what amount to redo in another CD.
Gotcha.
and that's what we will
But it'll be,
We might wanna-
you're correct, obviously it'll be available.
Yeah, okay, good.
Correct.
yeah. So really the question is, Bill, are you comfortable
question,
with
sir.
400,000 to get you to September 5th?
Absolutely, yep, definitely.
Is that too much of a comfort?
No, I think that's good, honestly, it's good, given what I said, I think I'm comfortable with that.
I think we need that much.
It's a comfortable level.
All right.
Okay.
Then so be it. So what we will do is we will take the 800,000 out. We will then marry it with the roughly 1 million plus that's coming due tomorrow. And I think the same scenario is here. We have money coming due September 5th, 3 months later, January 12th. So I would recommend that we roll this into a 9-month JPT bill. So that way we're staggered every 3 months and we always will have our money readily available to us. So I would recommend, basically 1.8 $2,000 or $3,000.
I was wondering if you were gonna remember that.
Yeah, well, whatever that fee is,
Yeah.
whatever the fee is to have it.
Yeah, whatever the fee is, so that we have 1.8 million in a 9-month JP Treasury at 5.07%.
So do you want 1,802,000 or 3,000?
Well, whatever, whatever the vig is, to try and make it a, 1.8 million.
Because we can ask what the fee is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
do that
And,
number.
I mean, it's,
I think we can motion what the fee is and have it even 1.8
Yeah.
with the fee.
okay,
Yeah, let's just do that.
all right.
I'll second that motion.
So what's the amount then you're motioning?
1.8 million to be invested in a 9-month T-bill, plus whatever the fees end up to be. To make it an even 1.8 million.
And again, the difference between the fee on the T-bill and the next best rate for a 9-month is, we still would be doing better than investing it in the CD. Any questions? So is that motion, was that motion
I
made?
made the motion and Jeff
I seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed? It passes.
Motion carries, yes.
All right, what else do we have? Are we
We're
2
there.
minutes late?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm communicating with him right now.
All right. Now, is that part of the public?
It is.
It is, okay.
It is. We're just gonna see it. Oh, here he is.
Yeah,
Sorry,
do we-
perfect.
It might,
Okay,
so,
I'm gonna hide Shannon for a minute.
do we, the only other board member who just walked into the other room is Susan? Does she just want to come in and listen then?
Thanks, Shannon.
She's here?
Certainly.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
I mean, she can.
Absolutely.
Or was it for the presentation, if Sue's the only other board member to be at the regular meeting, she want to come in and listen as well? Up to her, I guess. Because she can, we always said you can attend,
Yeah.
if she wants to sit in, I mean.
She didn't want to when I asked her before,
Oh,
but
okay,
I
I
will.
apologize.
Let me just ask her quick, that's considerate.
Dean, she said she would, except you're here.
Just sit next to me. So you were in traffic, right?
So it should have taken an hour and a half, it took over 3 hours.
Are you kidding? Is this game related then, I guess?
It was the whole way out of Queens through the Bronx, it was just the whole way.
Okay, thank you, Bill, appreciate that.
Sure, yeah, thank you. Let me start. Let me welcome in Bill Hamrock from Bill.com. Bill, thanks for joining us. Mark Green and myself, we're on a Zoom earlier this week with Bill, where we just got a little handle ourselves, a little feel for it, ask some questions, make sure we're kind of aligned in terms of what the expectations were. It was a nice demo, and we're just obviously ready to show it to the whole group here. I want to be clear, I don't want to steal his thunder, but this is primarily, almost exclusively potentially, to replace our current process for payables, for paying our bills. It's to look to eliminate, if not, just to marginalize, if not eliminate, late fees altogether, but also probably reduce some of what we use RBT for currently right now, and just to streamline, decrease errors, et cetera, a lot of benefits. So just want to give you a fair look at it. So if you were ready, Shannon, did you want to introduce anything in any way, or just let Bill take over?
Nope, they'll handle it.
Super, thanks, Shannon.
Bill, the only thing I wanted to add is that, Shannon, she's actually endorsed this for
Yes.
a year or two now. And
Correct.
It's been, so,
And RBT is a preferred partner of Bill.com, so they use it with a lot of their clients. Actually, even the pricing that Shannon shared, came from her, actually, because they have preferred pricing that they pass along to us and everything. But yes, she is absolutely an advocate of it, no doubt about it. I'm gonna zoom if necessary here. Okay, great. Okay, Bill, it's all yours. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks, folks. I appreciate you guys taking the time. I know we've got about maybe 25 minutes left, so I'll talk fast. But really, I think the big thing I would just stress to you is, as a partner, our platform and our business has been around over 20 years. We're a publicly traded company, billion in revenue. We've got, hundreds of thousands of individual customers using us, and we're connected to millions of businesses across the United States and globally. So, the majority of our customers use us for, AP and AR or AP or AR. We don't care. We just really try to create a tool that makes it simple for you guys to get payments out the door with the controls that are important. So, the platform was really built on a couple of really key premises. One, let's automate what we can to increase efficiencies. Let's allow you to customize some internal controls so you can create segregation of duties in your process, so you can get audit trail, so that you can, really have those internal controls that are important to you. Let's connect people to the things that they need to see when they need to see them. Create a really efficient workflow with, again, good checks and balances and automation. And then let's just get those payments flowing as quickly as possible and get people paid in the most efficient manner that we can. So, the concept is a really simple concept. We create a specific account for your business. Okay? It really is driven by a lot of automation on the front end of the process. So, each account ends up having a dedicated email address that gets connected to it. We use that to channel a lot of payment information, a lot of invoices into the platform, give it to your vendors, they can email you in. And it really becomes a centralized collection point for all of that inbound flow of information. Okay? We've got technology in there that automates as much as we possibly can. So at a invoice level, when an invoice comes into the inbox, our technology is reading it, it's interpreting it, it's starting to code it, it's starting to really improve that front end data loading so that we can capture information as quickly as possible. It recognizes the key variables in your bills. It kind of remembers how you've coded things against prior bills for that specific vendor. Okay, and it makes it really simple to maintain the integrity of that information. Okay. From a workflow standpoint, we're able to customize the workflow that's associated with that flow of information. So not only are we trying to make it efficient for the folks who are kind of preparing bills, we make it simple to create recurrence patterns. I know that we talked a little bit about that with Bill the other day. You guys have a lot of recurring bills where you just want to make sure that they get set up, that they're going to get scheduled, that we can actually create payment authorizations through there. The platform allows for all of that. And it's really simple to kind of create those recurrence patterns, and it really makes it seamless for you guys to actually go full circle and actually connect the payments so you can actually have auto payments going against those recurring invoices again for the businesses that's set up for. We've got automation around any type of approval workflow. Okay, so if you have certain parameters, maybe it's dollar thresholds, maybe it's different elements inside of the business where you want to make sure that the right eyes are looking at and approving the payments that are going out the door, we can build policies to make sure that that works for you. And because of the relationship we have with Shannon and her company, we're able to put resources behind that. So you guys don't have to be experts in setting up the system. We're going to have people that are going to come in, they're going to work with you guys to make sure that the account gets set up, it gets provisioned the way you want, your users get set up with the appropriate user rights and roles, and that your approval workflows get set up in a manner that makes sense for you. But the beauty is it's really a fully automated platform. So once you've kind of set the policies in place, it's software. The system holds you accountable for those. The other element in here is really a communication tool. It's we call it notes, but it's really a tagging feature where you can communicate inside of each and every bill record inside of the platform. So, again, making sure you maintain consistency of that communication, making sure it's all centralized. Once you add a note to somebody to say, hey, pay attention to this or whatever it's going to be, Okay, that becomes a permanent part of that bill record. It's part of the audit trail. I can't change it, I can't edit it. So again, if you're coming in and someone's auditing, you know, the workflow inside of here, all the notes are there. You want to find out what happened 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago on a specific bill, all the notes are in there. When I create the note, I'll get a push notification to in this example, Michelle. Hey Michelle, pay attention to this. There'll be a link in that notification. You click the link, it takes you right into the bill. So it's really all about, you know, centralizing that communication, making it really efficient, you know, giving you, you know, full audit history, audit trail of everything that happens from the time that bill record gets created to all your approval workflows, to any notes that are associated with it, right through to payment. Okay. But I think, you know, from a high level, just creating a bill record, getting it in there, getting it, you know, connected, really simple, super efficient, and we're using multiple layers of technology, whether it's OCR technology to capture information right off your invoice, whether it's, you know, kind of smart data where we're kind of remembering how we've coded things, to elements like click to capture, where I just, you know, can click and pull information from that source document into our coding. So again, a lot of things that we're going to kind of happen behind the scenes, but I think at the top level, just know it's about efficiency, it's about maintaining the integrity of your internal controls, and it's about building a process that's repeatable on an ongoing basis. Okay? Once the bill is created, and again, you know, as simple as just saying create the bill, what's going to happen is it will then automatically route into your approval queue. And, you know, it's really about making sure the right eyes are on these bills before they get scheduled for payment. Okay? Really important to know, you know, each and every user inside of the platform will be assigned a specific role in the platform. The role basically dictates your permissions. What can I do? What can't I do? You know, do I have the ability to create and enter a bill? Can I edit a bill? Can I approve a bill? Can I schedule a payment on the bill? So again, depending on what's important and depending on what your, you know, what your part is going to be in this process will dictate not only your permissions, but it skinnies down what you see. So again, you know, a lot of the folks on this call, maybe all you'll ever have to do is, you know, put an approval against a bill. You won't see a lot of these elements down the left-hand navigation. You'll see your approval queue. Your approval queue basically is a list of all the bills that you've been asked to approve. We will give you the ability to see those kind of at 10,000 feet. Here's the whole list. I can certainly use filters to, you know, look at maybe certain vendors or certain due dates or, you know, the things that are important to me. I can customize these columns to see the data elements that allow me to review it at kind of 10,000 feet and click to approve. Hey, those look good, okay? I can link in to those invoices right from this screen. I can see all the notes. So without, you know, getting really granular, it gives me enough information to say, okay, those are good to go. I certainly have the ability to drill down deeper into that as an approver and get more of that slideshow view where I'm actually seeing, you know, the source document. I'm seeing the individual coding. I can see the notes. I can leave a note for somebody. Okay. And once I'm satisfied, again, same functionality, I approve or I deny. And if I deny the bill, maybe it's a coding error, maybe it's, you know, something that I, you know, wanted to make sure got fixed. You know, I just got to provide a reason, right? So if I deny, you just got to tell them why. It'll go back to the person who coded it. And again, that's all part of the audit trail. Everything's getting captured in that. Denied. It'll go back, it gets flagged as a denied bill, it goes back to the person who had created that bill record. They'll make the edits, send it back to you for your approval. Okay. We also, in addition to this web app, we have a fully functional mobile app. A lot of our approvers, if all I'm ever doing is approving a bill, they're doing it on their phone. Okay, you'll have the same functionality. Approve a bill, deny a bill. I'll be able to see the attached documents. I'll be able to see all of the notes, leave notes. I'll be able to see all of the coding right from my smartphone. So, you know, I've been with Bill now going on about 5 years. I would say the adoption of the mobile app for our approvers, when I first got here, it was probably around 30%. You know, post-COVID, just fast forward a few years with technology, I want to say close to 70% of our bills are being approved on our mobile app right now. It's just, I don't have to be tied to the office. I'm not tethered to my laptop. I can approve those bills and just, keep my day going. Okay. But, the flow is really straightforward. It's really about just giving you visibility, giving you access, giving you control to the things that you should see. And then the flow for the individual bills is, coming to the inbox, someone's going to create a bill record, route through all of your approvals. Once bills have been fully approved, and that's a really good internal control, okay, we can't schedule a payment in the platform until the bills have been fully approved. Okay. Once they have been fully approved, they become eligible to be paid. And really that just entails someone who has the ability to actually, quote unquote, make the payment, if you will, to come in and schedule it. And it really is a scheduling exercise. You pick and choose the bills that you want to pay. You determine the date that you want to pay them, either individually, or I can do it in bulk. I want to pay all these bills, on July 5th. And I'll update that. When you issue payments, the bill on the back end is a payments business. We're going to execute on the payments. We're going to, on the date you tell us, we're going to pay these vendors by the payment modality that you've selected, whether it's still a check, could be an ACH e-payment, could be an international wire, could be a virtual card payment. So there's a lot of different modalities to make these payments. You determine how much of the bill do you want to pay. You can certainly short pay. If you've got any type of vendor credit, you can apply those. And you just tell us which bank account you want us to fund the payments from. Once that person is comfortable, okay, I've got these scheduled the way I want. Secondary control comes in. We have that person affirm those are the right instructions. Right? So we're not going to issue those payments until someone has scheduled them and then confirmed that's the right information. When they click pay, they go into the schedule queue. So again, on the back end, we're giving businesses a lot of comfort, not only in terms of the internal controls required to, facilitate the process, but complete visibility to that process throughout. We eliminate a lot of need for any back-end work to actually get a payment out the door. We're cutting the check. We're issuing the ACH, the international wire. Okay? Your bank account never gets exposed. We pull the money from your bank account. We issue the payments to your vendors. Okay? If it's a check, it's coming on a bill.com bank account. Okay? So your bank never gets exposed. Your checks are never in the wind. In addition, from a payment standpoint, everything is done on a post-payment activity. You have complete visibility into all of your payments. Okay? So again, this account isn't set up to make a lot of payments, so I'm just going to go back in time just to show you what that looks like. But really what happens here is that you now have a complete record end to end. From the time that bill was created, routed through all your approvals, payments issued, you've got complete visibility into that, inclusive of a payment confirmation that will show you the success of that payment. You know, when was it scheduled, when was it sent, when was it received? If it was a check, you'll have an image front and back once it's been cashed, check number, check date, expiration dates. Our checks automatically expire in 90 days. They'll get posted back to your account. The money gets returned if it hasn't been cashed. You get visibility to any outstanding checks. If it's an ACH, you'll get a trace ID. You'll be able to see all your approvals. You'll be able to see the bills that were paid. So, you know, it really, you know, it gives you a real comfort level that, you know, you have visibility into every single aspect and every element inside of the platform, again, depending on role you can be with. So, you know, again, I wanted to spend just a, you know, 15, 20 minutes just giving you that top level overview. I know we still got maybe about 8 minutes left. Any questions so far? Anything that you guys were hoping to kind of dive into, you want to dive deeper into? You know, really, I just wanted to be respectful of your time and kind of give you that top level overview. But clearly, if you have any questions, I'm happy to address those for you.
Can I just jump in to ask, Bill, I'm sorry I had to leave the room for a minute, but did you show some examples of how it can minimize human error where it's transposing numbers automatically from one record to the next? You already covered that?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good.
We definitely talked a little bit about it, Bill, but, you know, I think really that was the front end. What we were talking about is, you know, we put a lot of technology into play to improve, you know, the efficiency, but also to mitigate risk, right? So, you know, by building out, you know, this technology and giving, you know, businesses the ability to, you know, auto capture stuff, use optical character recognition to pull the information right from, you know, the document that was provided. We're using, you know, secondary kind of machine learning to look at, hey, how did we code things the last time to this vendor? We'll probably code them the same way. And if we need to make a change, it's as easy as, you know, going in and, you know, providing what that change is going to be. But we're trying to make it, you know, as seamless as possible. And then we talked a little bit about this click to capture. You know, obviously it's an efficiency tool if I've got, you know, an invoice that maybe has split amounts, but it eliminates a lot of data entry issues, right? We're not fat fingering numbers. We're not relying on somebody, you know, kind of cross-putting and coding. We're able to kind of take any data that we need and copy and paste that in the appropriate fields in our coding. So again, it really just kind of, you know, not only does it create an efficient process, but, you know, we're really trying to mitigate risk in that process, you know, cut down on the fat fingering, making it really simple for these guys to perform the actions that they need to. And then, you know, lastly, on the approval side, you know, because we you know, create an automation for approval, you know, it relieves a lot of the burden of the folks who are creating these bills to know, hey, who should be approving these? Because we can build rules. Certain vendors go to certain people. You know, maybe it's tied to a dollar threshold. If it's over, you know, $5,000 or $10,000, we need 2 people to approve it, or 3 people to approve it, and these are the people that need to approve it. So again, you know, we're really trying to, you know, put some of those internal controls in place with automation so that, you know, it's kind of set it and forget it, right? The system will take care of it, and I think that to reinforce, we're going to have a team who, you know, all they do is onboard new accounts, help support you guys to walk you through those workflows.
Great.
Right?
Thank you,
Talk to
Bill.
you about what's important to you.
Bill, we have a few questions. I don't mean to interrupt you. Please, Mr. Chris.
Yeah, man.
And Bill, I might ask you, this Bill, will Marty and Kelly both play a role with this?
They would
Tool?
both be cross-trained, they both know how to do it. I would say that Marty would probably own it the most because
Okay.
she kind of owns the payables process and works with RBT closely to have cuts, checks cut, et cetera, goes and picks them up, all of that. It would change her workflow a little bit.
I would like to ask them if they're comfortable so far in what they've seen and if it looks like a appropriate tool for us to use.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm getting yes from you. Thank you.
Can we put them on camera now? So the question I had is like for secondary approvals, like for example, correct? Right now we're signing checks. So you had said, so it would be
So Jeff is gonna sign, you come in, you have to hit the button, or you do a mobile? How-
You
what
can
is
have a
that?
mobile app.
I mean,
Whatever degree you want. Bill, do you want to talk about that kind of remote
That-
connectivity?
Well, he did talk about
He did.
that. He talked about 70% of people use
Yeah.
a mobile app.
Okay.
I'm not that guy, I'm more of a laptop and, you know, but in theory, instead of what you've been doing,
Come in and sign.
these would go right to him and he could review them at his leisure and be able to approve them with a click of the button,
Thank you.
which would definitely,
I know you did say
streamline
this
that.
one.
the question I have, and we only have, you know, 1 or 2 minutes, the biggest thing for me is the output, right? Again, my pet peeve is I wanna see, you know, I love looking at trends, I like looking at, you know, what have we been paying, you know, not just, you know, we're in May now, we're still in May?
We're June.
Son of a gun. But, you know, looking at, you know, what did we pay in May, April, you know, I wanna see all those vendors, so that way I can, you know, very quickly glance over and kind of do a, you know, okay, it's in line, it's out of line, why is this number so much higher, that kind of thing. So that's really where I would love to focus on, is if I could see some sort of output from this.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, from a reporting standpoint, there's a couple things I was going to say. A lot of folks get really comfortable, you know, inside of these views, just using these filters to kind of look at what I'm looking for, right? So, hey, show me all the bills that we paid over a certain date range, or show me the bills for this vendor, or show me everything that, you know, that Bill was the approver on, okay? So again, you can kind of use these filters to fine tune the data set that you're gonna look at. Once that, you know, once that query runs, you'll have the list of all of the, you know, the bills that met that. And then a lot of folks like to use this view because I can drill into the detail, right? I can go into those individual invoices. I can kind of see more of what's behind the scenes in those. You certainly can export those as well, okay? So, you know, once I have that view filtered to what I want to see, you know, we allow you to come in and export that to a CSV or Excel and dump that out and report on it. In addition, you know, we've got a lot of, you know, kind of canned reports in here that are available for you.
That you can filter.
Kind of, you know, use these reports to generate the information that you need. And lastly, you know, we're going to sync this back into your accounting software, and then all that information is going to flow into your accounting software, so that you've got all the reporting capabilities in your general ledger as well.
Yeah, I don't doubt that this syncs up, you know, look, in my private life, I'm a customer of yours, my firm uses you all, so I certainly, you know, have no complaints there. But for me, again, it's all about, and so if we needed to set up a template, because you don't have any currently on file that fit our needs, is there somebody there to help us, you know, set up what we need?
So the reporting in a platform is either driven by, again, using those filters to generate the list that, you know, makes sense for you, or using the reports that are available. We don't have a report writer inside of the platform today, but I can say that, you know, in combination with what we have, the reports we have, and the flow of that information back into the general ledger, the general ledger solutions typically have some pretty robust reporting elements inside of them that should allow you to get any type of report that you would need if you can't get it out of Bill. But today we do not have a, you know, 100% customizable report building solution that you could, you know, build exactly what you wanted when you needed it on demand.
I'd like to see.
So
Okay.
do we need any more time with Bill? Are we good on that?
I'm good.
Bill, thank you so much for your presentation, we really appreciate it.
We'll be in touch.
Yeah, no problem, guys. And
Thank
if we
you.
want to go deeper, let me know. If the guys who are doing the work want to kind of dive into this thing and kick it around, you know where to find me, okay?
We'll definitely do that, absolutely. Thank you, Bill. Have a
Appreciate
good
it.
day. Bye-bye.
Appreciate your time, guys.
Sure.
Bye,
Bye
thanks.
now.
Okay.
All right, is Shannon still here?
We're gonna bring Shannon, if you could come back, could we just wrap up the conversation with you? Especially when he kind of was alluding to implementation and all of that, Mark's question, which I know could be part of your role, so what do you want, you should shoot, Mark?
Well, I guess, I understand the reporting and all of that, but Shannon, I guess the real question is cost. And my back of the envelope numbers, to implement this system, we're probably looking between $2,000 and $3,000 a year. So I know in the past you'd mentioned potential cost savings from your side of the equation because you wouldn't have to do as much, so therefore we'd be saving money. And I'm certainly not expecting to save the full $2,000 to $3,000, but it would hurt a little less if I knew that we were offsetting some of that with the expectation that your hours would decrease.
So it would be hard for me to give you like an estimate because I don't know what you would want RBT's role to be in this process of the reviewing and the approving and things of that nature. But I can tell you we wouldn't have to physically cut the checks. So that time right there alone would go away. I mean, and that varies month by month and how many checks are being cut. But again, until you actually met and decided what everybody's role in this process would be, including RVT, I couldn't quantify that for you at the moment. I mean, once you went through it, there's definitely going to be a cost savings. It really just depends on how involved we will be or won't be. And then you no longer have to buy, bulk stock checks. So what you have will probably last you well past your terms.
One thing I really like about
I know,
this,
unfortunately, they just bought some checks, but they will last for a very long time because you would only need them in I need to get a physical checkout today type scenario. So I can't see you guys incurring that cost, and that was a pretty steep cost this year.
in my bank job, one of the biggest fraud issues is check fraud. And stealing it out of the post office or the mailbox or personal mailboxes, it's shocking how much of that there is. And
Enormous issue, right?
This would, I think, avoid that completely, except for the occasional one we might mail.
No, and check fraud.
And usually those are, you have to hand it to somebody, so I don't even know that that would really make
Alright.
the entities susceptible.
And check fraud is actually on the rise, but, there's always a balance in my eyes. When you set up things for automatic payments and you do those things, it's what I call sneaky costs. It's when, it just keeps getting paid automatically, and then 7 months later you look up and go, wait, why are we still paying for this? Wait, what happened here? And that's where, we would still need that reporting to ensure that, again, we're not leaking.
Nothing would change at your QuickBooks reporting. So the reports that you get now, you would still continue to get, because the only thing that's really changing is your payment method within QBO. It's now going to be bill.com as opposed to a physical check, but all the detail behind it will automatically flow from that system into there instead of Marty, who's now doing the physical input of it. The information is still going to be there.
Well,
So as bill.com, if you keep requesting certain reports from them, or we take a look at what they have available and set up filters, you might be able to get different reports out of that system to go in conjunction with what you get out of QBO currently.
Well, I know we can't, you've made it clear we can't get an exact number, but is there any way to at least see the cost we pay on postage and things like that, right? Because I have to imagine we're getting billed for that, right? That's part of the overall fee?
Yeah, you have postage expense, yep.
So is there any way to at least get some of those hard numbers that would be eliminated by going through, you understand what I'm saying?
Well, I don't I mean, because we don't physically mail the checks out, because they go back, Marty picks them up from our office, they come back to you guys for signature, and then they get mailed out there. So that's included in your postage fees. It's just our time to physically process the checks. So again, it varies month by month. I don't know, I couldn't quantify that right at the moment.
Yeah, my only comment, obviously, Mark, I know where you're going with, right? And, are we gonna see some sort of savings? But the savings I'm gonna see is, I know for the most part, Kelly gets all these fees eliminated, but she's on the phone for these late fees and whatever, and it's been an ongoing situation. So for me, that's kind of tied into what you're going, and then we'll have to evaluate it like we evaluate every other service we have. We'll take a look at it and see where we are. And if we determine that maybe it isn't worth it or whatever, we have the checks now, so we can switch it. But, but I know what you're saying. I don't know if they're going to be able to give us a definite, but this definitely has to be more convenient and.
Oh, without a question, the convenience, and all of those things, I'm 100% on board with.
And the fees, obviously, if there's the late fees.
What's our timetable that you're suggesting we consider this and roll over?
Well, we looked at it a year ago, and the committee wasn't comfortable at that time. Different composition, everything, and different time that we were in, no doubt about it. So I'm looking forward to implementing it if the board agrees. But
Again, a month or two?
yeah, I would have.
Yeah.
But Shannon and I had a little conversation that we could talk about how if RBT would help us implement and how it would work after the fact, and I think we could get closer to an estimate of those costs. I think we could possibly. But so if we, and Shannon was saying, well, we may need, if there's interest, if it's favorable, we just may need another meeting to delve into that and maybe give you all the particulars, right, Shannon? Is that what you meant? That we could?
Yeah.
Yeah. So meaning that we could give you some more information that'll allow you to just be a little more informed in this decision. And if it takes us 2 or 3 months to implement, that's not the end of the world. We've been plodding along, and frankly, as Mark knows pretty intimately, we've been improving our process all the time together. This is just a way to really jump up.
Well, I'm in favor of moving ahead as
Okay.
it makes sense and we fully investigate the information.
Yeah, so am I. But at that point, we're still in the finance committee meeting, correct? At that point, we get to the full board, we can say,
Yes.
if everyone agrees that we go forward, then we can start implementing that.
Exactly.
I would say this, so it sounds to me like we have kind of 2 ways to get a cost analysis. One is, with RBT's involvement in this transition, and what is the involvement going forward?
Exactly.
And without RBT's involvement, and, so I would say to both of you to come up with some, again, I'm not going to go down to the penny, but just give me some sort of back of the envelope.
I know we can.
Are we gonna save $500? Are we gonna save $50? Whatever it is, I'm not gonna sit here and quibble. I just at least wanna know we went through a process to think about it.
I think we can get closer to that, don't you, Shannon? Do a little analysis to at least, we don't have to sign it in
Once
blood,
you
but we're
determine what the rules are gonna be, it would be easier for me to go back and look at the time history and figure out, if we're not doing this part of the process, what time has that been? And give you a ballpark idea. Again,
Yankee Stadium, that's all I want, that's the closest I want, is Yankee Stadium. I'm not looking to get down on third base, all right? So please, don't, I know your finance, your abacus in your head is wheeling right now. I don't want it down to the penny, I just want a rough number.
Oh, it isn't. I mean, I do think it will be a substantial savings. Do I think it's gonna be the entire fee? I don't know. But the whole point when we originally proposed is that this process was in place.
That's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, I'm not looking for the entire fee.
Correct.
If it's gonna cost $2,500 and we mitigate $1,200, I'm totally fine with that. It just makes it easier to swallow, that's all I'm saying. So if you guys could do that, that would be great.
Absolutely, 100%.
All right.
I think you would be happy once we determine what our role is.
I think we're all happy when we determine what our roles are, but I will leave the meeting at that.
And if I could, last thing, our general counsel's not on this, but I'll have to talk to her about whether or not the board needs approval on this, because it's a monthly expenditure. I'm not sure that per our procurement policy that I need board approval, but we'll check that as well. If we do, of course, it'll be in August, it looks like. So.
All right, are we good?
think we have.
And then if you guys do decide to implement this, though, you might want to contemplate what needs to be in front of the finance committee and the board, because a lot of this is gonna be behind the scenes on your own time, not necessarily at a meeting signing checks. So if you've already done the approval process and did all of that, what are they going to need? Are the reporting parameters going to change during these meetings?
I mean, it's just payments, so I don't see how.
Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly blunt with this, it makes it even easier to have more fiduciary oversight. And so, to be perfectly honest, what we could do very easily is we can have our chairman and vice chairman both have to approve. That way we can make sure that, we don't have the physical check, but this way we have a checks and balances there.
Absolutely.
So I mean, there are ways to do this that still streamline and make it exceptionally easy to do this, but to have that extra fiduciary level.
For sure. My only concern is, as I said at the top of our first call with Bill, is whether or not our volunteers either have the capacity or want to have that, something else in between where you have to check this message and review.
Well, I think that would only be, once a month,
Of course.
Okay, here's the stuff that needs to be approved. But we can go down that rabbit hole later. We need to move on. Anything else we need to talk about right now?
No, sir.
I have something, if you don't mind.
Son of a gun today. Okay, what do you got?
Since we're not having our July meeting, I know of 2 bills right now that are not reoccurring bills. So I don't know if you could give us the authorization to cut those checks and send them out, or do we have to wait until August?
I think we should do that now. And
What are those?
Glad you brought it up.
The one is American Funds, which is the retirement account. We got a bill for them for the yearly processing.
Yeah.
And the other one is the grant guy.
RFCon, right, who's handling our Fast New York, where we had basically an agreement with him up to $2,500, so.
So the second payment.
His second,
The
right,
second payment, yes.
second of 2.
All right, can I get a motion to approve payment of those 2 items? Because we're not gonna be here in July to do that.
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Yes. Motion to adjourn?